looking at live pictures from the top of the Console Energy Bridge overlooking base camps A and B, where Scouts are getting ready for their base camp bash. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Keegan Eatman from Scouts Canada.
And I'm Willie Shao from the Boy Scouts of America, and we are your hosts for tonight's show.
Here's what we have on the show today. Scouts connected with astronaut Drew Morgan here at the Jamboree yesterday. We'll play some of his conversation from the International Space Station with Scouts here at the Jamboree. And Todd McGregor, the director of the summit, comes to the studio. Maybe we'll finally find out where he gets his inspiration for all those memes he posts on Instagram.
We visit the Model UN program here at the Jamboree and talk with a woman who represents youth interests in the world with the actual United Nations. And we will talk about what the Scout Law means for Scouts around the world. And as always, Keegan will keep us updated on social media.
We've had a wonderful day here at the Summit Bechtel Reserve. I really hope the sun keeps shining.
Let's check in with Jamboree meteorologist Kyle Kipple for the latest update on weather conditions here at the summit.
A comfortable evening is in store at the World Scout Jamboree. I'm Kyle Kipple with your evening forecast. Temperatures warming compared to the past couple nights. In the upper 50s in Fahrenheit, around 15 degrees Celsius. A little bit of wind as well coming out of the northeast, and not a chance of rain at all, not concerned about that. Overall, comfortable evening with mostly clear skies. Watching for the chance of some patchy morning fog in the valley areas. Evening time lows across the region as well. Around 56 degrees Fahrenheit in the areas around the Summit Bechtel Reserve, 13 degrees Celsius as well. A little bit warmer as we head off to the northwest, and that's what's going to prevent some of the fog developing into our region going into tonight. Now, one of the factors that prevent fog development is dependent on the wind speed. Now, if the wind is moving too fast, it won't allow the cloud to move down to the ground to produce that fog. And that only happens if the wind is very calm, which will allow, again, that cloud to come to the ground to produce the heaviest of the fog. So we take a look at the wind speed and the forecast wind speeds for tonight, around 5 miles per hour on average going into Thursday night. And the heaviest of the fog development we're forecasting is to be in the eastern portions of West Virginia, stretching from Elkins into Richwood, but to the northeast for the most part of the Summit Bechtel Reserve. We're still in the fringe of a little bit though, around 8 kilometers per hour, tonight's wind speed. So we still could see some light fog developing in the valley areas around the summit this evening, waking up Friday morning. Temperatures will warm quickly though for any fog to develop. That will lift quickly, around 78 degrees Fahrenheit for your Friday temperatures, 26 degrees at the summit, that's in Celsius for your Friday temperatures. Keep that water bottle handy. Temperatures are warming as we head into the weekend. 80 degrees Fahrenheit for Friday's temperatures, 82 degrees Saturday, 83 degrees on Sunday. And notice the overall warming trend in the evening temperatures as well. 15 degrees overnight on Friday and 17 degrees overnight on Saturday and Sunday. That's going through the evening hours. Mostly clear. That's thanks to the area of high pressure bringing those generally warming conditions into the weekend. That's going to stick around, but we still are keeping an eye on that cold front that's tracking through the central parts of the United States. That will move east as we head into next week, and that's going to bring up our rain chances on Tuesday. That's next week. You can see that now on the next 6 days, temperatures warming into the mid-80s Fahrenheit, approaching 30 degrees Celsius. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we're going to see that cold front move through West Virginia, and rain chances are going to be highest then. 50% chance of rain on Tuesday. So enjoy the sunny conditions while you can now at the World Scout Jamboree with these beautiful sunny conditions.
As you know, the Jamboree is all about unlocking a new world. But we found out that it didn't just stop there. We had a connection with space yesterday.
In fact, a group of Scouts connected with American astronaut and Scout Drew Morgan, who answered their questions. And New World Live was there, of course.
International Space Station. This is the World Scout Jamboree. How do you copy? Drew, this is the Summit Bechtel Reserve in West Virginia. We are so excited to be talking to you.
First of all, I wanted to just welcome you all on board the International Space Station. It is my honor to be joining you there at Bechtel Summit Reserve for the World Scout Jamboree.
Hello, I'm Gabriel, and I'm one of the global ambassadors for Brazil. My question for the astronaut was, space. As an assistant scoutmaster, are you still planning to join troop meetings from space?
My service in scouting has been primarily as an adult leader, as an assistant scoutmaster. I was a Cub Scout as a young child, but I never progressed all the way to as a Boy Scout. And now I've spent a number of years as an assistant scoutmaster, and I do plan on staying connected with my scout troop back home, Troop 452 in Friendswood, Texas.
I never imagined, it's beyond my wildest dreams to talk to someone who's up there. Being fascinated by space and all of that since I was very young.
My name is Gregory H. Johnson, a former U.S. astronaut. My first reaction of seeing the Earth was I was laughing hysterically at how wonderful it was to see the planet, but also floating in space. I like to think of it as Spaceship Earth, and we should all try to be good crew members and take care of our planet and our crewmates and not just be passengers along for the ride. My connection to scouting is very long. I started in Cub Scouts when I was 6, along with my brother, and we went all through Cub Scouts and mainstream scouting, and eventually got our Eagles. I've gotten involved with scouting to help them modernize the curriculum and keep scouting more and more relevant in this rapidly changing digital world.
I feel like I should show you guys a couple cool things. The first time I saw my friends on their side and doing backflips, I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm hoping that you guys do too. I just wanted to show off our flag here that was sent up. My honor to do so.
How cool to see the Jamboree logo floating in space. And don't worry if you missed the opportunity. There's another chance to chat with Drew in space on Saturday, July 27th at 2 p.m. at the Faith and Beliefs area in Centro Mondial.
We got a flag back the other day that was brought up to Everest, but I think this one beats that by just a little bit. So by now we've seen how awesome the Summit Bechtel Reserve is, and if any of you have worked on camp staff before, you know it's not easy to keep camp looking great. Imagine being the guy leading the team, making sure the summit lives up to its reputation for being more than 10,000 acres, that's 40 square kilometers, of fun. Well, imagine no more. We have with us live in studio Todd McGregor, the summit's directors. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So this Jamboree is something truly special. The biggest world Jamboree so far with 125 countries. What's been your initial impression of it so far?
So I think it's an outstanding Jamboree, from the coming together of all the IST, the buses that arrived, the stateside scouts that came early to help the rest of the world show up. And of course the opening show was absolutely phenomenal. And of course one of my favorite parts is clicking.
Oh.
Yeah?
Well, let's click. That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool. So you live and breathe the summit. What's been something that's really surprising in terms of getting ready for the World Scout Jamboree?
So I think the most surprising thing for getting ready with the World Scout Jamboree is all those things that you don't see. Yeah. The security, the logistics, the transportation, and quite frankly, the coming together of volunteers from really all over the globe, just so that a 14, 15-year-old young man or young lady can have a great smile and a great time. Yeah. That to me is the most surprising thing.
Yeah, great. And it looks like the summit is open year-round. What are some of the program that goes on here outside of a Jamboree?
Well, outside of a Jamboree, the summit absolutely rocks, whether you like skateboarding, shooting, ATVs, fishing, whitewater rafting, and the summit experience. In fact, quite frankly, we are open year-round, and there's things that we do in the winter that you can't do in the summer, like polar zip.
Oh, cool. And is that just going down a zip line when it's
freezing cold? Yes, sir.
I once saw a drone shot of the summit that had snow covered over it, and it was just beautiful. It made me want to come in the winter.
We want you to come. We're better when you're here.
So what's next for the summit? I saw since the last Jamboree that was held here, now there's been a lot more buildings that have been built. So, I imagine that means there's more coming. And what's next?
We got plenty of coming, mostly program related. I don't know if you know this, but there's been a Sasquatch sighting on the summit. Okay. And so I suspect next year we're going to be hunting Sasquatch a little bit with Squatch Camp. Look for that to come and be a part of it.
Cool. And we looked at your Instagram, and we saw that you have a thing for beans. What makes beans so special to you?
So the Hot Beans Instagram stuff is really special to all of us here at the summit. And what I would share with you is this. What I can tell you is it's really a thing with the seasonal staff and myself. And if you want to know what Hot Beans is all about, I encourage you to apply to be on seasonal staff for 2020.
So the Scout motto is to be prepared. So
Yes,
we
sir.
came prepared for this interview. And as a gift from the New World Live team to you, we have this can
Nice.
of Hot Beans. The biggest can that we could find on campus. Just for you.
I appreciate it. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so
That's
much, Todd, for
outstanding.
being here.
Outstanding.
And keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. And thank you for doing what you're doing. Have a great Jamboree.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break now, and New World Live will be right back.
My name is Pauline Kagiri. I'm from Kenya. After having these difficult issues that happen in the community I come from, especially in terms of FGM, that is female genital mutilations, early abortions, girls getting off marriage at 9 years old, to old people, it's really discriminating for us as girls. They don't give them that chance to experience education, having fun as young as they are.
And you, as me as a person, as a scout, who is educated, I want to see somebody else having that experience of education.
After trying to go to them, talking about the situations that are happening on the ground, it's responding positively, and I'm proud that they're doing something in return.
So be an inspiration to someone. Make sure we embrace gender equality, and we create a better world. Thank you so much.
There are just so many activities all around the summit waiting for Scouts to conquer them. Are you looking for more inspiration? Take a look at this. wow, there's just so much going on here at the Jamboree. Personally, as you may know, I'm a huge fan of the food houses. That's my favorite spot.
Yeah, and I think we had a really cool experience today at the food houses where I got to share a little piece of my Canadian culture with you. And we got to go and I got to treat you to a pea meal bacon sandwich and a Maple Leafs coffee. And I think that's the best way to start your morning.
Yeah, and to return the favor to Keegan, right after that, we went to the American Food House and I got him a hamburger.
I think there's lots of great food at the food houses, but of course that's only just really one piece of the summit, but also of what we got to do today. And I think another really cool experience was stopping by the Globe Leadership area to talk to some participants about sort of what leadership meant to us and what we've learned from working with some of the incredible leaders who have made this Jamboree happen over the past 7 years.
And to those at home who maybe won't get a chance to experience that, we have an escape room. So if you tried that before, you go in and you run all these puzzles and you have about an hour to try to get out of this like locked room, and you have to work together, you have to problem solve, you have to do leadership work within that to get out, and at the end we do a full report on everyone in that room to say what are your types of leadership style, what can you learn from, and we do a debrief at the end of that. And that is, we run that full room here, and participants get to go through that, and we were there to talk to some of them before they went into that room and brief them on it. So that's for me, when we first started putting that together, I was really excited for that and looking forward to that part of the program.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great learning opportunity, really. This Jamboree is about discovering new things, not just about other cultures, but yourself. I know tomorrow I'm looking forward to spending some time visiting some of the exhibits put on by National Scout organizations to learn about sharing that cultural experience we had with a larger group.
Absolutely. And another interesting fact that we learned about this morning is we had scouts lining up for the big zip line at about 3 a.m. in the morning. By the time the staff arrived, there was a line of about 400 people. It's a long line. The big zip is awesome. There's a lot of stuff going on too. But I think that really captured a lot of the excitement that kids had around the big zip.
For sure. But it's important to make sure you're well rested. Ziplining's no fun if you fall asleep halfway down. So you don't want to line up too early so that you have a good night's of sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can also see from social media just how much fun you've all been having around the summit. Your posts are coming into our feeds fast now. We look at the facts you're sharing your amazing adventure and Jamboree experience with those at home and around the world. As the weather gets hotter and drier, more and more of you have been heading out towards the adventure and water activities. Water reality, big zip, stand-up paddleboarding, and the tracks being particular favorites. We've also been following along Willie's footsteps and enjoying the multiple food houses we have in our Global Development Village. From British to German, Canadian to Brazilian, and lots more. The amount of amazing dishes up there is unreal. Lots of you have also been seeking shade and stretching your brains at activities in areas such as the Better World Tent, World Point, or by attending the multiple conferences and speeches happening here at the summit. We always ask you to keep using our Scout Jamboree hashtag and keep doing that. However, we have special requests tonight. We want to see your amazing gateways. Our New World Live team has spotted so many crazy and beautiful constructions from around the site, from all over the world these past few days. And we want to feature them here tomorrow morning. So snap a picture, then tweet or post it to Instagram, and tune in tomorrow.
We've seen this week that scouting is a global movement that's taken shape in many countries. Few organizations have a reach as global as scouting, except for maybe the United Nations, which has more than 190 member countries and is a partner of the scouting movement. Earlier, our colleague Diana Carrillo spoke with the UN Secretary General's envoy to youth, Jayatma Wickramanayake.
Welcome, Jay, to this wonderful New World Live. It's a pleasure and honor to have you here with us. Let me start by asking, how is your job? What does it take to be the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth? What are the goals? What do you do at your job on a daily basis?
Yes, well, thank you very much for having me on the show, but also I just want to say thank you to the Scouts for inviting me to attend the Jamboree. This is my first Jamboree and I've been having a lot of fun, but also learning about a lot of new things that the Scouts are doing and all these amazing young people here in the Jamboree are doing. So it's been a privilege to be here and I look forward to more engagements. My job as the UN Secretary General's Envoy on Youth is to be the advisor and the representative of the UN Secretary General when it comes to youth-related issues. So when you say issues related to youth, it's really
all the issues in the world, because young people are affected by every challenge and every reality that we are talking about. What is unique about my job or my position is that currently our world is the youngest it has ever been. So we have the largest number of young people in the history of the planet as we speak. So there's a huge responsibility in the hands of the policymakers to put together the right investments, the right policies, the right frameworks to empower these young people so they can contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, peace and security, and human rights for all. So my goal is to be the bridge between young people and an international multilateral organization like the UN, and to really bring the United Nations closer to young people and bring young people closer to the UN.
Well, that sounds like a really exciting job. Thank you very much for being here. I know it's your first Jamboree, and as you may know, this is the world's largest youth gathering. Here we have more than 133 countries represented. So in your opinion, what is the impact that the Scout movement can have in the lives of young people and in the world?
I think the Scouts movement is critical and is really key for us to achieve our goals and our ambitions as the United Nations in realizing our objectives and our mission as well. I say this because a lot of the challenges that we face in our world today, from climate change to migration to peace and security, are global issues. These are issues that goes beyond the boundaries of individual countries. So we need global solutions for global issues. And at this Jamboree, I see young people from more than 130 countries coming together. Sometimes they don't even speak the same language, but they connect with each other. They share experiences, they share culture, they accept diversity, and I think develop empathy so that they can understand other people's realities, other people's struggles, and other people's concerns better. So for me, the biggest impact that the Scouts movement can have, being the world's largest educational youth movement, is to really bridge these gaps and bring young people together from all parts of the world. Because as I said earlier, the global issues that we face right now need global solutions, and it's global young people like the Scouts who can bring solutions to those issues.
That is so true, Jay, and it is very motivational for me to hear that from you. From your stay here at the Jamboree, what has been the most eye-opening thing that you've seen here in this gathering?
I think for me, what's been really fascinating and eye-opening is to see the commitment of the Scouts. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions and stereotypes about young people's lives, right? And some of this is like, oh, young people are lazy. They just hang around. They only spend time on their mobile phones. They only know how to complain. But you come to a place like this where there's more than 45,000 young people gathered together, showcasing through exhibitions and concerts and workshops the work that they're already doing in their communities, and helping other young people figure out what their priorities are, having conversations, engaging in debates. This morning, for an example, I was at a Model United Nations where they were stimulating the work of the different UN committees, the different UN programs. So I think this has been such a fascinating example for me that I can take with me in my work, to showcase that young people, in fact, are not lazy. They're not just sitting around waiting for others to solve our issues. They themselves are organizing, and they are coming up with solutions, programs, projects, volunteering in communities, and are really having the eagerness, but also the capability to respond to these challenges that we are talking about.
Sure we do. And lastly, let me just ask, here you said we have 45,000 Scouts here in the site, but over there we have around 50 million Scouts that are watching right now. So what would be your final message to them?
I think the work of the Scouts are extremely important to the work that the rest of us are doing. If you take the development space, right now the biggest challenge and the biggest opportunity for the global development community is the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. We have this amazing set of 17 goals and 169 targets that 193 governments came together in 2015 and agreed that they will implement. But of course, we cannot implement these goals without the support of half of the world's population, that is young people. So for an example, through programs like Scouts for SDGs, Scouts are localizing and contextualizing these sustainable development goals into the work that they are doing in their countries, in their communities, in their schools. So what's important is that this work that the Scouts are doing is actually reinforcing the work of the Sustainable Development Goals and are contributing positively to their achievement. For an example, the work that the United Nations is doing on peace and security, and the work that the Scouts are doing, for an example, through the Messengers of Peace and the Messengers of Peace Heroes programs, has been really instrumental for us to bring the perspective of young people, showcase and highlight the stories of positive peace building and positive impacts of young people, the frontline work, peace building work that young people are doing on the ground. So for us, the work of the Scouts are extremely important. You have a massive outreach, you have a massive reaching to young people who are shaping their value systems, their principles. So we really hope that you stay closer to the UN, to our values, to our principles, because we really share the same vision and share the same goals.
We do, and I'm sure Scouts that are watching, Scouts that are here, we are all committed, as you said, for the Sustainable Development Goals, and we will still be working together. As a first sign, I want to say I love your neckerchief.
Thank you very much. It's my first neckerchief, so I'm very proud of that.
That is very good. Thank you very much, Jay, for being here with us.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you, and all the best for the rest of the Jamboree.
Thank you.
We live in a big, complex world of interconnected cultures, economies, ecosystems, and countries. The Model UN program is an amazing learning experience where Scouts simulate the works of the United Nations here at the Jamboree.
Model UN is characterized by collaboration and connecting with fellow Scouts from around the world. The National Scout organizations appointed delegates to participate, and it's happening right now at the summit.
New Zealand. Present. Namibia. Present. Nigeria. Present.
My name is Raghav and I'm from India.
My name is Julia. I'm from Canada and I'm with the 6th unit.
My name is Pandu and I'm from Indonesia and I'm representing Indonesia in the Model United Nations program for the 24th World Scout Jamboree.
We discussed about nuclear disarmament and how to reduce the nuclear missiles from the different countries' arsenals.
We were discussing about climate change and climate displaced persons.
We had somebody come in and they talked about a lot of simple solutions to problems. A lot of people are thinking of multi-million or even billion-dollar solutions to products, but he talked about how in Somalia they just put in lights on pathways for women and that solved so many of the problems.
It was really nice to work with different countries and it was a good experience. And even though we had different opinions, we agreeing on the most basic things.
It's actually really fun to witness and hear their point of views, their different point of views, because countries are very different. And then when you hear opinions from other countries, you're not only getting the experience, but you're also getting the knowledge. And you can learn from one another and you can take away this amazing experience with them. And you can make friends, you can make alliances, you can trade information that you may have not known by yourself or by searching it up in the internet.
This was a really good experience and I can take a good life lesson from this, working together and being a scout. So just the Model United Nations and scouting comes hand in hand, and yeah, it shows how to lead the way to make the world a better place.
I can't agree more that working together and trying to solve some of these challenges we face is at the core of scouting. And there's another piece that is as well, and that's the Scout Promise and the Scout Law. It's about respecting others, it's about being a good friend and a good human being. It's something that we as Scouts try to live up to every single day.
But everybody has their own interpretations. We met Valentina Rodriguez from Uruguay, who generously shared her thoughts on it.
What does the Scout law mean to me? It's kind of hard to say what it actually means. I can't put it into words. It's actually like a really strong feeling about like scouting, like being a better person, like doing things better for our world and yourself and the other people. So it's not only like doing what it says, but like feeling it, like actually having in mind what you are trying to accomplish. So it really means like the way I feel like safe to do a better work. The connection between like the Scout Law and the Jamboree is like one of the phrases is like treating people well. It's full of people and full of friends you can make. Also the Jamboree, so like you have to treat people good and make friends with them. I like going to scouting. Like the Jamboree has developed a strong like environmental sustainable things, and I think like we have to set our mind on that and actually like try to pay attention to it and do it, accomplish it.
That's great to hear Valentina talk about the thing that binds all of us together. Even though we wear different colored knickers and different uniforms, we share the Scout Promise and the Scout Law. And thank you, Valentina, for discussing that. Before we say goodbye, let's check in with our Jamboree meteorologist, Kyle Kipple, to see what the weather will be like for tomorrow's Cultural Day and all of its festivities.
A comfortable evening is forecast across the World Scout Jamboree this evening. I'm meteorologist Kyle Kipple. Temperatures warmer compared to the past couple nights, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius. Wind out of the north-northeast around 5 miles per hour, 6 kilometers per hour. That'll help prevent any major fog development across the valley, but some patchy fog is likely still across the evening. Mostly comfortable evening under clear skies. Temperatures tomorrow warm, approaching 78 degrees at the summit, and areas just to the north of the summit even warmer than that, around 87 degrees in Huntington, 31 degrees Celsius there in that area, but only here in the summit around 26, 27 degrees Celsius under a mostly sunny sky for your Friday temperatures. Your 3-day outlook, 80s for the next couple days in Fahrenheit and gradual warming temperatures for the overnight, approaching 28 degrees Celsius. Keep those water bottles filled. H2O is the way to go. Back to you.
Thanks, Kyle. It's looking like great weather for tomorrow, which of course is our Cultural Day.
So don't forget to watch us tomorrow. New World Live Morning Edition starts at 10 a.m. It's the perfect way to start your day at the Jamboree after you've ridden the Big Zip.
And we'll have a complete recap of our Cultural Celebration Day activities, as well as live coverage of tomorrow night's Unity show at the AT&T Stadium. Au revoir.
Goodbye and adios.